All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off tonight calling the Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting to order for August 16th, 2021. Could I get a roll call, Mr. Fetty?
Sure. Board Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board Member Tommy Roulette.
Present.
We got City Attorney Dale Wilton.
Here.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, I have no announcements for Board of Works, guys, unless either of you do.
Have none, Mayor.
I have none.
Okay, oh, I would like to say this. Can you guys make a meeting Thursday morning around 11? Are you able to?
Sure.
You need to let me check my schedule. I
Okay.
think I have a meeting at the sewer district at that time.
Thursday?
It's to go over 30% drawings of the plant, the upgrade. Let me check.
It'll be like a 20-minute meeting, but let me know.
I'll check. I
I'll
can check.
have to advertise it by tomorrow at 11.
Okay.
Okay, let me know. All right, if none other, I'd like to get an approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have no new business for this meeting. Under old business, Rick Clark.
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
You got it?
Yeah, dude. So we, at the last Board of Works meeting, it was reported that we had bid results back for the new ambulance. And what I'm requesting the Board of Works do tonight is reject all of those bids. And I talked to Rick today, I met with him, and I've met with him several times since that last meeting. This actually should have been a request for proposals. What I learned, and I wasn't involved when they went out, and typically this happens, a lot of people just kind of think, well, everything's a bid, but there are multiple layers and nuances with requests for quotes, requests for proposals. And the reason that we believe that this is more appropriate for requests for proposals is because price is not the ultimate factor or the only factor. Bids are appropriate when they're required, of course, but especially when it's apples to apples, and then you just have to take the lowest price as long as everyone's responsive and responsible. With the ambulance order, it should have been a request for proposals because what's most important to the EMS is that the ambulance fits in with their specifications to maximize safety, to minimize downtime, to have close locations for service. So these are the reasons that Rick kind of has identified in the process. So rather than awarding a bid to anyone other than the lowest bidder, and because this should have been a request for proposals from the beginning, what I'm proposing is that we reject all three bids, which we can for no reason at all, and to publish this as a request for proposals, bring back those proposals. I'm presuming that the same firms will submit proposals and maybe more, and then with Rick's input and Rick's list of what's most important, including price, but not limited to price, then that will help the Board of Works select the best candidate for this purchase. And I wanted to kind of explain that in a meeting so that everyone knows what we're doing.
I'm sort of confused there because when we go out for when they, excuse me, got their chase vehicle, we went out for bid. You go state bid. When we go for police cruisers or even fire apparatus, it seems like we always go for bid. Now you're saying we just need to go for RFPs? I'm confused with that.
And that's not all. I think that's right because those are state bids because that is a state minimum bid. Then I don't think ambulances are on the state minimum bid list.
But we bid them. I'm saying we bid those.
In my understanding, Mr. Roulette, is that when we get a police cruiser, let's say, we buy the cruiser, and then there's a second part of that where it is outfitted according to whatever specs we need.
Correct.
So if you're drawing that analogy, and that's a good analogy actually, because what Director Clark is saying is, okay, there's an F-450 chassis or a Dodge chassis.
Right.
We don't really care about that. We care about everything else. So whoever can design the cab is really what matters because they're doing it all at once rather than buying the truck, then doing the cab. What he's saying is we want to make sure that we can choose the candidate that, again, has the best cab, most compatible, that our crews are used to, and the most important thing for him, at least at this point is that can be serviced and out of, it can be serviced when there's a problem, out of service for the minimum amount of time. And the three candidates for the bids all had different parameters for where you could service, how you could service. So again, rather than choosing someone who's not the lowest bidder, I don't think that's appropriate here. I think this should have been a request for proposals all along. And Rick didn't do anything wrong. I think it's just everyone kind of assumes, well, just do a bid, we'll publish a bid. People kind of use the same format, but in this context, because price is a factor, but not the only factor, and maybe not the most important factor, as long as, it's not a crazy amount of difference, and you guys get to pick that at the end. You still get to choose with Rick's input that a request for proposal would be more appropriate. The bid statute allows us to just reject all the bids, which that's what I'm recommending we do tonight, and then I will generate the RFP. We'll get it published as quickly as we can and get proposals right back in front of you so that they can move forward and order an ambulance.
I got a question though,
Yes, sir.
Dale. I think in the past, we've ordered ambulances. We ordered the chassis and then separately.
The box.
The box and the bed all came.
Okay?
So I don't think that, I think there might be some misunderstanding there. I don't know, I wasn't a part of that meeting, so I don't know, but, in the past, I know we've ordered the chassis
Correct.
separate, and then the box and everything else in it was a separate
Okay.
add-on, so I don't know which one we're talking about here. Are we talking about the chassis, or are we talking about the box?
He told me that we're talking about everything. So the three bidders bid to provide everything: the truck, the chassis, the box.
Wow.
When he,
And maybe I'm wrong, but that's my understanding.
but when he puts that bid out there, that bid should be spelled out in the
same specs.
specifications that he wants. And they all have a chance to match those specs that he's come up with.
Right.
That's a first for me.
And that just didn't happen, but you're exactly right. And so to be most fair to EMS and to be most fair to the firms that want to get this work and sell us an ambulance, I think this is really the only path we can take, is to reject the three bids and then do a request for proposals.
And you don't see any repercussions for this at all?
Not if we do this, because so if we do anything other than this, there would be. But we're not rejecting the bids to go around any process or to favor anyone. We're actually doing the opposite. And that's why I want to have this conversation at the public meeting, because we're actually doing the opposite. We're being very transparent. We're not favoring anyone.
Right.
We're just favoring, again, EMS, but making it fair for anyone who wants to sell the ambulance.
Well, I got a question then. Have the bids already been opened?
Yes.
Yes, they have.
Yes. But they were not accepted. I mean, they were open, but we didn't vote on them.
And another, just as an aside, this came up with a redevelopment bid, and I met with Mario, and we're working on our bid process too, so that we can have better information for whether it's council, utility board, redevelopment, whoever is approving that final award, whether it's by RFP or by bid. We're gonna add an extra layer so that you guys have more information, and you just don't open bids at these meetings and then have to table it and then have to come back. I think it's more fair to do that, to add an extra step so that everyone can look at things like this when it doesn't match up exactly to what we're looking for.
Well, that's why we make the motion to allow that individual to review them and come back with a recommendation, because they know more so than I would on what specs they put out and what specs the individuals or the companies, gave them, so.
Yeah, in this case and in other cases, it's better to, say tonight was the first time ever that we were going to see these bids.
Correct.
For the ambulance.
Right.
If they would have just opened the bids or the request for proposals, say at noon today, and you open them in chambers, anyone who bid on the project can be here, it's a public forum, then when you come to the meeting tonight, you already have all that vetted out. If there was an issue, if there's something that needs to happen, rather than kind of the awkwardness of opening it but saying, well, we can't read through them all now. And then if there is an issue, then we have to call a special meeting. So this just helps you guys have that information. Plus, you'll know when a bid's being opened. You can meet with Mario or Billy or Messmore or whomever, you know, between that noon time and 6 p.m. or whatever time you're comfortable with. So just kind of working through the kinks. And it's, you know, Rick Clark runs EMS. You know, he doesn't do bids or RFPs. He's not an attorney. So he did what he thought he was supposed to, but then when it came back, he immediately realized, well, this isn't apples to apples. This is apples and oranges. So once he figured that out and I was able to meet with him, and I totally agree, then it's better for request for proposal so we can score the things that are important. And Your Honor, my understanding is that we're buying everything, but I don't know for sure. That's a good point. I don't know the nuts and bolts of that either.
Well, it's to my understanding, if I remember correctly, he spec'd a General Motors chassis, for sure. He did not want a Ford, he wanted a General Motors.
Okay.
I know that
Yeah, but I don't know if he.
he has past practice with them and like them. So I don't know. This is new to me.
Well, the safe thing is, okay, we can go ahead and reject the bids, because that puts everybody back on the
Right.
playing field.
Right.
But I think we need to get more information from Rick. I wish he would have been here. Because I'd like to know if he's bidding, or if he was going out for proposal for just a chassis or the whole thing, because I recall in the past that we've done them separately.
With
Okay.
the numbers that he read aloud that night, I would venture to say it was for the whole
package.
apparatus. Yes,
Yeah.
I would.
200 plus?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I remember seeing it.
It was
too.
200 plus, it was the whole.
Yes.
The whole
Yes.
apparatus, yeah.
Okay.
But see, here's what I understand, if he put a set of specs out, and if he's saying it's apples to oranges, he should go with whichever one was the specs that he had put out. So, I don't get it. Okay. All right, so,
So you need a motion to reject all of the bids for the apparatus for the EMTs?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
And to go out with RFPs.
And go out for RFPs, yes.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that motion.
okay, so the motion on the floor was to reject the ambulance bids that were presented at the last meeting.
Meeting before last, correct, yes.
Opened up at the last meeting, and reject all of those bids, and then go out for RFP.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Tommy, you made that motion?
Yes, sir.
Tony second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, okay. As long as we're being consistent, I want to be consistent. Okay, next item really is, I don't think we need to do any action on, because RSVP dissolved.
So who will they use instead of RSVP for these things?
No idea.
You think they could get a hold of the adult center and maybe set
Well,
up
the
some
adult
kind of
center's
club
been
to-
involved. They've been involved. In fact, the adult center was trying to work out something with RSVP, my understanding was. And that didn't come to fruition. So I don't know who the fire department's gonna partner up with. Somebody else may step up. I don't know, Tony.
Okay, well, I was just thinking maybe there's some seniors that might enjoy doing that kind of thing.
I think, well, from what I understood, talking with Mary and others, COVID did a number on RSVP last year. So,
Alrighty.
so I assume we don't do any action on this then?
No.
Okay, because there's not gonna be an MOU.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you guys think anything else, any other old business for Board of Works?
I have nothing.
Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So move.
Second? Second, Tony?
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
move.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
I guess everyone to have a say-so in it.
Uh-huh.
$25 fine every time that phone rings.
Something ought to happen.
Or pizza.
Trying to be professional here.
I hate to see what my account looks like right now.
All right.
Trying to be professional.
Next meeting I'd like to call to order is Utility Board meeting for August 16th, 2021. Can we get a roll call, Mr. Fetty?
Sure. Board Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board Member Justin Noppert.
Sir?
Board Member Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Board Member Lenny Fryman.
Present.
Board Member Brett Mondurant. Yes, sir. City Attorney Dale Wilton.
Here.
Utility Director Billy Kennett,
Here.
President Kelly Malone,
Here.
and myself.
Okay, any announcements, Bill?
No, sir.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, we had a motion, or I need a motion to approve the July 12th work session for the USB.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New Business Director Kennett, 5-year capital plan.
Yes, sir. So this is something we've been talking about. We worked on the operating budget and was able to present that to you. Since then, we've also been working on the 5-year capital plan. This is a little bit different financial operation than what's been done in the past. We, I've always been taught to work on an operating budget and a capital budget. And there's a line item in our accounting for depreciation, but we don't truly depreciate. There's not truly a fund there for that. So what we're proposing to do is move some money around in each one of the utilities in the depreciation expense fund, which would be the capital fund. Now, the balancing act there is how much do you keep in reserves for the operating fund and how much do you put in the capital fund? And a lot of work has went into this. We have asked Reedy Financial to come in and look at our cash flow, do a cash flow analysis. We've actually revamped the capital plan twice now to make it so that we have good reserves year after year in doing this. So a lot of works went into this. A lot of plannings went into this. The items that you'll see on the capital plans are things that we are laser focused on what needs to be done to our systems, our electric, water, and sewer systems. The things that you'll see on that capital plan are all things that the infrastructure that just needs to be replaced. The time is coming up on the useful life of some of this equipment. And so, it was very important that every penny that we spend in our capital went towards improvements of, the electric lines, the water lines, the sewer lines. So, if the board approves it, we've already got it set up in the accounting system where we can take some of those operating funds and move it into that line item of the depreciation expense, that capital fund. And then we will be watching both balances for that. So any questions regarding the capital plan?
I just have a few questions on the water line, the water part of it. Like East High Street water main replacement, that's surprising with the infrastructure work that we did in the past that's never been replaced.
Right. There's actually 2 sections. I was surprised as well, Tommy. And Andy put this list together. There was East High Street and then
Elm Street.
The alley west of Walnut Street.
Yep.
Elm
then
Street.
Elm Street, yes.
So there's some existing infrastructure that I think it goes back to probably, I'm not sure when the last time this was replaced. He called it if I remember right, a ductile iron water line. It was my understanding that they did almost all of the water mains here in town.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I
Back
was
then on
wondering.
East High Street, they dug the water mains up. I'm be surprised they didn't replace them, because I remember it being all dug up for
Yeah.
that. They
'Cause
did
I
the sewer
asked
lines
Andy
and the water
the
lines.
same thing, and he said that these are ready for replacement. So
Do we have any documentation on what mains were
oh,
replaced?
that's a great, we're actually trying to put all that stuff together. It's in pieces, and Some of it we have some documentation on, some we don't. And so we're in the process of trying to get organized and get all that documentation.
Could we not, excuse me, but could we not go back to the engineers that engineered a lot of this streetscape and see if they do not have drawings to whether we did or didn't replace lines? Is that possible?
Yeah, we'd have to trace it back to figure out who those
It just,
engineers.
it amazes me that we're talking about East High Street and Elm Street, knowing it, and I'm almost positive it was the Gabbard administration that started on the east side of town redoing the infrastructure. A lot of it was storm sewer and water line, and I would think the gas company was in at the same time doing gas lines. The sanitary, I think, were good. It's just amazing that we did not do them then.
I think they did High Street on Tremaine's administration, and I know the 100 block is new water lines, because I ran new water lines out of my mother's house out to the new water lines out in the
Yeah.
street.
I'll
And with
get
the
you-
sewer lines also.
I'll get you an answer on that as to why these were on the list.
Well, I guess it's one thing if they were replaced, that'd be some money that would save.
Yeah,
You know, what I mean?
exactly.
It's just odd that we did not elect to replace those water lines then when the streets, you gotta remember, we were tearing the streets all up and, redoing it.
They dug it up to the dirt.
Yeah,
Didn't have street lights for 2 years.
That
and
is
then new base and then come in with the asphalt.
year 3, right?
Okay.
Would that have been, what, about 20 years ago?
Yeah, about
Yes,
20 years
yeah,
ago.
I figured it started in 97 or 98 when Melvin started.
No, but High Street was done with Tremaine.
25 years?
Could have been.
Okay.
So, Mr. Kennett, essentially you're saying the items that are in yellow, that's what you would want to transfer
Yes.
into that
Yes.
depreciation account?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
And what I am showing up here in the top is the account balance. So basically, what I was trying to do is let's see. So like I'm looking at the water here, and in the
Okay.
operating fund, I left $2.5 million in there in the operating account as a reserve. And the reason I went higher on the water is we know we're operating in a deficit on water. So I left that operating fund beefed up so that we would have a little bit more carry room over to that. So on the electric, I left 1.5 million in there in the operating fund for the electric, and then for the sewer is 1.2.
Yep.
So that's that balancing act I was telling you, that, making sure we had enough reserves in the operating fund, how much money do we move over to the capital fund? And I can tell you that we actually took things off this list, so the needs are greater than what we have for the capital. It's not that they're taken off the list, they just didn't hit the 5-year capital plan. So, we've actually got projects that will, once we continue to do this 5-year plan, we've already got projects that are teed up that are ready to fill the gaps for the coming years. But that's our goal, is to update this every year so that 5-year plan, we've got a good financial plan in place, both for the operating fund and the capital fund.
Does this take into account any of the, I think we spoke about some grants that were available for some
Right.
of the,
It does not. So if we are successful in obtaining grants, that makes this financial picture even better. And that means,
Great.
we would have more money in the capital fund to do that. And the way I treat it is like 2 different checkbooks. You got an operating checkbook and a capital checkbook, and you just want to make sure that you keep plenty in reserve and manage the money appropriately. And this is just like what we did with the AMI. This is a concept of a 5-year plan that we're asking for approval on. Each one of these projects we will bring in front of you, and you'll be able to approve each one of these. So tonight we're just asking for the approval of the concept of the 5-year plan And then as we start putting pricing together for each one of these, then we'll come back to you for the approval of the actual line items.
Any additional questions?
Yeah, so the 5-year plan is, and the money that we would be transferring to the capital fund would be paying for this 5-year plan, essentially, is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, it's existing
Simple,
money
right.
that's there, and
got it.
every month we call out a depreciation amount for each one of these utilities. We just don't move it anywhere, and it
Right.
really just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything. Well, you know, we want it to have a purpose, and so we moved it into that capital fund
Good.
so that
Yeah.
we can manage both operating and capital.
Sounds like a great way to do it. Have it separated like that. Well, do you need a motion, Mayor?
And if there's any other
Other
questions,
questions?
or if there's not, I entertain a motion then to approve the 5-year capital plan, which, I mean, Director Kennett said, I mean, every year you have to revisit, because some things get pushed out, some things get pushed back in. Just depends on the need. So
Yeah.
Do we do that as electric, water, and sewer all in one?
you can do it all in one.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the concept of that capital plan.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good job, Billy. Any other new business, Mr. Kennett?
No, sir.
Old business, you got water meter proposal review and approval?
Yeah, so this is a good example of what Dell was talking about with the ambulance. We went out for a request for proposal, so that we could pick and choose. So the name bid versus proposal, you know, it's just a small word change, but it does mean a lot when you're doing this. What it gave us the ability to do, we put together specifications, but there's so many different variables when it comes to all these different water meters. So we told the bidders, this is what we're looking for, put together your best proposal. And that's exactly what they did. So we was able to, we opened up the proposals that we received in the last board meeting, and took it under advisement to go back and take a look at each one and grade them all out. We put together a grading sheet for the different proposals that we had. One of the things that we considered was Buy American. In the Indiana code, it does have a Buy American thing in there. There's different requirements that allows us to either Buy American or not Buy American, price being one of the big things on that. So went through a lot of time going through and grading things. Andy put together a great grade scale, and we sat down, reviewed everything, and you know, I smiled at Andy and I said, now, if this is your money, what would you do? You've got the option here to pick and choose, you know, what you would do. And he said, if it's my money, I'm buying the smaller meters through Deal, and I'm buying the larger meters through Neptune. You will split it up. And that's what he thought was best for Lawrenceburg. And I smiled and I said, I would do the exact same thing. And so that's the recommendation that we're making, is to purchase the 5/8 through 2-inch meters from Deal. The reason we didn't give Deal the whole thing, on the grading scale, you'll see that the 3-inch valve from Deal becomes ductile iron, and we didn't want that. And come to find out, Deal is a German-made meter, and they didn't even have 3-inch and above available in the U.S. last year. So this is a new meter. So it made sense just from a quality standpoint, and you know, those larger meters, larger consumers, more revenue. Neptune is an extremely good meter. So we decided to go with Neptune.
Just to clarify, in the notes, you had said 2 to 3 inch from
Yeah,
Neptune.
so
and
then-
5/8 to 1.5
Yeah.
from Deal.
So then we looked at it and we said, okay, now we're gonna upset these guys because they wanted the whole bid. So how do we make it fair and still
Okay.
get the price point that we have here? And so we backed it up to the 2 inch. So Neptune 2 inch and above, and then Deal the 5/8 to 1.5 inch.
Well, that's one question that I have, Bill. Are we allowed to do that, Dale, since we went out for RFPs for the total package? Were you allowed to split that package between 2 different companies?
Yes, yeah.
We can?
So
Okay.
we're in the negotiation phase with all of the vendors, and so that frees us up to enter into separate contracts, as long as it's agreeable to both sides. And I think what Billy and Andy did was perfect. I mean, and that's an example of now 2 people kind of won, and they, we're splitting it up, and one firm is providing some of the products, one other firm is providing the other. We'll have 2 separate agreements, but all based on the same RFP submittal, so that's why we're able to do that.
Okay. Second question, I see Deal on here for the RFPs. Neptune, is that, which supply?
Yeah, that's the one on the far
Utility
right.
supply?
Utility
Utility supply?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to ask.
And through this bid process, we were able to save
okay, I was looking at this.
$300,000. So based on the pricing that we had been paying for water meters, that's how we put together our budget. So we had a budget of $700,000 to replace all the water meters. We came in just over $400,000 when you add up both the Deal and the Neptune. So nice savings there. We also, through this process, if you remember, it was back in September of last year, the board approved $300,000 to purchase water meters. And we put that on hold because we had a lot of things that we needed to look at and kind of sort through. And this is the result of that work. So we saved $300,000 on the meters, plus we saved another $150,000 by using the existing radios that we have out there now on the water meters. So we'll be able to use the majority of those radios that are out there. So this worked out very well.
Question then on, you're saying we're using an existing radio.
Uh-huh.
What is the figure at the bottom of these for like $146,795?
Yeah, that's the savings that we have by using the existing radios. The 156,411.
Okay, because I misunderstood that, because
Yeah.
I looked at the number at the top and then I looked at the number at the bottom.
Yeah.
Added them 2 together and it came up with $636,795. It was confusing.
Yeah, so it definitely is confusing, and here's why. Because originally they wanted to go with the Neptune meter and the Neptune radios.
Okay.
So if we would have done that, then it would have been another $155,000 that we would have saved we would have had to change out all the radios that we have out there. Once we started looking at this and once we knew that we wanted to go with AMI and we could use our existing Itron
Okay.
radios, then, that was the savings.
So pay no attention to the bottom
Right.
figures.
Right. I left that in there just for conversation's sakes to say, this was where this thing was going, and we grabbed a hold of it and said, whoa, hold on, let's do our homework, let's make sure that we're spending this money wisely.
That's-
So there's $300,000 that's already approved by the board. We would like to go ahead and have the board approve the additional little bit over $100,000. That would be the total package for the bid purchase.
Do you have a
or
dollar
proposal.
amount, or should I do the math here?
I think it was 300,000 that was approved, right?
Yeah, yeah.
101,729.
Right, yeah. The total amount of the package
It's
between Deal and Neptune is
101,729.
401,729.
What was it, Mayor?
101,729.
Mr. Kennett, was there a big difference in pricing on the 2-inch meters? I mean, and did we get a volume discount through
Yeah,
Neptune to go and buy those from
Yeah,
Neptune as opposed to
we
Deal?
looked at that and we were, there is a price difference, but to get the pricing, so Neptune was not happy that we broke it out like this.
Right.
But to give us that 2-inch volume, they kept that pricing in place.
Okay, so if we wouldn't have bought the 2-inch, it might have gone up with the 3-inch.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you. That's, okay, good deal. It worked out well then.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I think we're asking for two things here. You're asking for approval of these, I'm gonna say you want approval on the, to purchase the 5/8 to 1.5 inch meters from Deal, and you want approval to purchase the 2-inch and above meters from Neptune, and then you want a separate, motion to approve the additional funds.
Correct.
Okay. So the first motion I'm looking for is to approve the Deal Company for the 5/8 to 1.5 inch meters, and the Neptune Company for anything 2-inch and above. So that's the first,
Yep, so moved.
okay, motion. Okay, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and then you're asking for an additional $101,729 from this group to be approved, in addition to the $300,000 that was previously approved.
Correct.
Okay. And that'll take care of all of them instead of just, we thought partial. Okay.
Yep.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, good work on that, Mr. Kennett. Thanks for breaking that down for us.
Okay.
I think he had some help with that, I believe.
Yeah.
Out of
it
the
was
clerk's
fine.
office. But you all did a good job.
Thank you.
I like saving $300,000 almost.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next item, Mr. Kennett, is financial report.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight the changes that we made to the financial report. You know, each month we try to make this a little bit better. And actually Hunter came up with this idea of being able to show you the cash flow each month as well. So it's one thing to talk about revenue and expenses, but also to talk about the cash flow and how much money we have in each one of the utility accounts. And so that's one of the changes that you'll see to the financials. So on the individual, so the front page of the financial package shows you electric, meter deposits, water, sewer, fiber, and then the total amount that's in the checking account. Then we break it out into each one of the utilities, electric, water, and sewer. The financials are looking a lot better than what we had projected. We were coming into the year with a lot of unknowns, but you know, things are panning out very well. So it's definitely a lot better than what we thought it would be for all three of the utilities. The fiber, we have been collecting, so with the fiber, with the assets changed to the city, LMU was still billing for the fiber up through June. And that money was being collected into LMU's account, but it wasn't being transferred over to the city. So we sat down and figured out how much that would be. And so we did a claim to transfer that money out of LMU over to fiber. And that'll either hit this month's claims or next month's claims to do that. So we're trying to get all of the fiber cleaned up off our books, off LMU's books, and over to the city.
Great.
That's all I have on the financials.
Good. Any questions? You don't need any action on that, right?
No.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to
Mary.
adjourn this
Mary.
meeting. I'm sorry.
Just kind of, you may want to make an announcement that we're going to change the order of the meetings next month.
Actually, we already did this
Almost.
month, right?
No,
This is the,
we'll have the
This is the second
Utility
meeting.
board.
First meeting.
Oh, the first
It's the
meeting?
first
And
one.
it's kind of due to
Yeah.
financials and stuff. I just wanted to kind of make sure you pointed.
Well, we can. For financial reasons, because of the way things post, I think is what we're doing this for. Is that correct, Mr.?
Yeah, so what was happening,
Our bills.
one of the big invoices that we get each month is the IMPA electric bill, and we don't get it until the middle of the month. And so we're up against a very tight timeline to be able to get the financials to you before the board meeting. So Dell came up with a good idea of, let's just move it so that you've got time between when you get the IMPA bill, we can put together the financials. And that way we can get things to you in a timely manner. Right now, you know, it's Friday or Monday before I'm getting you the financial report because we have to wait on that IMPA bill.
That makes sense.
This will help us get things to you in a more timely manner where you can review it, ask questions, things like that.
So we're gonna flip-flop the utility board meeting and the Parks and Playgrounds. So Parks and Playgrounds will be the second meeting of the month, which is the third Monday, and utility board will be on the first Monday of the month.
So we're gonna have back-to-back utility board meetings coming first of
Yeah.
September.
Yes.
That's fine, that's fine.
Yes.
Mm.
And we won't have a Parks and Playgrounds for 2 weeks, or 2
Oh,
weeks.
maybe.
Uh,
As long as the public knows, that's good with me.
Just so you know, also, next month, the first meeting will not be on the first Monday because it's Labor Day, so it'll be on Tuesday, the 7th. Just keep that in mind. We'll have it posted as well. So, okay, now can I get a motion to adjourn? Thanks,
Sorry.
Mark. Thanks, Mark.
So moved.
Second?
Your Honor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. I'd like to call to order City of Lawrenceburg Common Council meeting for August 16th, 2021. If we could all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, Mr. Fetty, one more roll call.
Yes, Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Justin Noppert.
Sir.
Councilperson Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman.
Present.
Councilperson Brett Bondurant. Yes, sir. We got City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
We got the Mayor Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Let's start with announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs downtown, Mr. Abbott.
It's all good.
All right, sir. Streets, alleys, and curbs up on the hill, Mr. Fryman.
Looking real good.
Finance, Mr. Bondurant.
No report, Mayor.
Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Noppert.
I just want to encourage all of you other council members and Parks Board members just to kind of go take a peek at George Street. Just give your thoughts on it. Just have, we can have some conversation regarding that.
Yeah, we'll be setting that committee up here pretty soon, won't we?
If needed. Looks pretty good over there. It was brought to my attention to go take a look too.
All right.
It's pretty nice shape, actually. So, I don't know. I think you guys all ought to take a look at it, though. Justin brought it to my
Yeah, I
attention.
just
I
like
went
to
over
just
and take,
people to take a look. And
I took a look at it.
I'd like to
too.
maybe get some neighbors and get some feedback on the amount that it gets used as well. I mean, it's just, we want to provide, and we have amazing parks we want to continue to have those.
Everybody uses our street downtown anymore.
Oh, it's
Everybody.
That they do.
It's used, well used, so.
That's for sure. Well, that's good. That is good.
But the other thing is too, maybe over there, I don't know, I've been over there a lot at night, but even lighting might be something that deters people. Just,
Lighting is a problem.
it's a wooded area behind it going up to 50, so it is pretty,
Just may want to check with the neighbors. Lighting over there might affect them a little bit
True,
too. I
yeah.
don't know, but I went over it. You were right, Mr. Noppert. It's in pretty decent shape.
it's a nice park. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is.
it is. It really is. But anyway,
You didn't
okay.
break anything while you were over there, did you?
I'm sorry?
You didn't break anything while?
Oh, no, I
Very
didn't.
good.
No, I stayed off of it. Fire Department, Mr. Rollette.
Have nothing to report.
All right, sir. All right, I've got a couple of announcements. Just wanted to bring people's attention. Last weekend was busy Saturday in Lawrenceburg. St. Lawrence had their 5K down here and went off. They had the biggest attendance ever, which was good. I talked to Mr. Wagner, Brian. And then obviously Farmers Market was going on. We had to move it down to Short Street and Short and Elm, or
Center.
Short and Center,
Correct.
because of the fire truck pole. We were setting up for that because that fire truck pole went off really well. Haven't heard any numbers on theirs yet either, but they were expecting some pretty good numbers to be brought in there. And then the Brady Gabbard benefit, I was over there early in the morning and then again later in the afternoon, and they had a crowd.
I think they were trying to raise enough money to fund the scholarship for 5 years, and last I heard, it was funded for more than 4.
Okay,
So the
good.
Scholarship Foundation are trying to set up with that, so it's pretty,
A good deal.
yeah,
That's wonderful.
it was awesome.
And then, obviously, Music on the River has been a hit, guys. Got just two more left. Summer's about out. So, this Thursday and next. And then, this Saturday, Summerfest over at the park starts around 5 o'clock. So, if you can make it, please stop by. The events have gone off pretty well so far this year, so got a lot more to come yet, though. So, anybody got any other kind of announcements for this meeting? You guys want to bring out or anything?
Yeah, how we coming up on, what is that, Old 48
Bilby,
on Bilby?
Labor Day is the Mario talked to the contractors this morning. Labor Day is the opening. Supposed to be the opening that weekend. We're hoping the weekend prior to Labor Day. Right now, they're doing some chip and seal right through there, and then the guardrail people in next week, and then the paving. That should be it.
I know, I got a call from my son.
Mhm.
He's got that electric bike he bought. He's very proud riding that up that hill.
Mm.
So he got up there and he said, I can't go through there. They're working. And I said, well, just go on. He said, I can't go. They got a hard hat. I said, your head's hard enough, but
Don't be telling him to go through there.
I'd have had to go and get him.
In jail. Anyway, yeah, Labor Day weekend is what we're looking at. If everything goes well, the weather doesn't become an issue, it should be, we're on schedule. I'm hearing that the apartments are about a month and a half ahead of schedule right now down here. So
What is our opening on that?
they're saying spring of '22. The one, I think it's the east wing will be ready to be leased out. So. Okay, any other announcements from you guys?
the only thing I'd like an update is we're on the fiber. Where are we at with the fiber?
About what?
Or do we still have the outside contractors
No.
doing?
No, they're only, the only thing we do with outside contractors is if it's a project only.
Okay,
There's no weekly work going on.
okay. I
We're
noticed.
hooking people up. We got we did hit above 400. We got 414 customers now. But no, there is not. Only if there's if we have to have an underground done or something like that, then
Or a repair,
or a repair.
like a splice, like that's what they're
Yes,
working on
I
Center
noticed
Street
you
today.
working behind the bank today.
Behind what?
Behind the bank on Center Street.
Yeah,
There was about 5 of them.
There's a coyote box that put in by the previous company, not this one. And the fiber in it was put in too tight, so a lot of it split in there. So they had to replace
man.
that.
So the only time they are used on a needed basis.
That's it.
Okay,
Great,
good.
Yeah,
Good.
that's it.
great.
Didn't realize we were
Probably
that far
see-
along.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
I mean, it doesn't mean we still don't have some things to do,
I understand.
but it's gonna be on a case-by-case scenario.
Good, thank you.
Just
No
that,
problem.
if I may, Eric, just to kind of continue on our conversation today about downtowns on Mondays, as most of you guys know, it's often a ghost town down here. Well, I was down here most of the day today, just grabbing some lunch, and there was only 2 restaurants in the whole town open, and those restaurants were flooded. And I sat and ate from one of them, which our faithful Cummins Cafe Delights have been here for 8 years, which I applauded her and thanked her for her, serving here for so long. She was open and served us, but she had lines out the door. And then as we sat outside, I saw 8 to 10 people pull up, walk up, see the hours, see they're closed, put their head down, walk back in their car. Met a couple from Brookville that came. And he's like, "Oh, I'll meet my daughter down here. Is there anywhere to?" He's like, "Well, you can, but it's going to be a little bit of a wait."
Come back on Tuesday.
And what he said, here's what he said: "Well, I'll just head down to McDonald's." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, so please come back, so please come back." So I just want to publicly say that I think we're getting enough volume of traffic. I know Mondays was a slow day for people, but that it might be time to start opening up, getting some more hours, and we have,
Here's the problem. They don't have enough help.
that flat out.
And that's what I've been told. I agree. You couldn't said it any better. I'd love to see at least maybe some people stagger it. Say, a couple more be open on Monday and maybe a couple close on Tuesday, whatever.
Cummins is down there working alone today. I mean, it's just she's doing her
And
best.
she's hit or miss right now
Yeah,
too.
it's tough. Yeah.
But the thing is thank goodness she was open today.
Yeah.
But you're right, Mondays are not a good day for downtown. And it's a topic of discussion in every one of my merchants' meetings. I think they're missing out a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we're getting
That's my opinion.
great traction down here. We're getting more volume, so it's
Yeah, I
Well,
agree. Good
For
point.
the years past, it was a ghost town 7 days a week, so 1 day a week's not too bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Good point.
Well, I guess we're getting spoiled. Good point too, Justin. I agree with you. All right.
We
Anything
could have
else,
food
guys?
truck on Mondays.
What's
We
that?
could have food truck come in on Mondays.
And may not be a bad,
Seriously, park right at Civic Park.
help with the overflow.
Yeah.
Not a
Wait a
bad
minute,
idea.
I think I got a bike with one of these things on the front of it.
All right,
I could
should we
put some
move on?
hot dogs or
Yes,
something.
please. Yes, please.
Lenny's lasagna.
Food
I'd
truck
look good
is,
riding around in that, wouldn't it?
Lenny's luau.
food truck is a good idea, though. Food truck is a good idea, have a couple.
Well, I'd like to give our merchants another shot. I got another meeting coming up with them, and I'm gonna put it out there to them that, hey, if you can, or find a different day to close, if it's a help issue, that'd be great, but if not, we may try to bring in a food truck on a Monday to help offset some of the traffic, but.
It's just going to get busier.
Good point.
Firewater's closed down because they don't have enough help till they're close
Exactly.
to October.
That's
I
right.
mean, we're going to get a lot of
Did
their
see
volume
that.
coming here. So it
Yeah,
is a tough environment for help.
it is.
It is. We can.
Okay, any other announcements? Good one, that's a good one. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have a work session from July 26th that I'd like to get a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then I had a work session from July 29th that I'd like to get approval on.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Any
carries.
more work sessions we need to
We're
approve?
done.
That's
That's
what I
all right
said.
now. That's
Do you
it.
have that many?
That's it. That's
You're
it.
working us.
Yeah, exactly.
He ain't feeding us, though. I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's okay. We're helping you with your weight. All right, new business. ARA resolution for owner occupied rehab grant. Come to the podium, please.
Happy to. My name is Karina Carter. I'm with Administrative Resources. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
What we have before you today is a resolution for the owner-occupied rehab grant. The application is for $250,000, matched with $25,000 from the city's rainy day fund. The actual program will include roof replacement, ADA accessibility to the threshold of the house, heating and cooling, lighting and electrical replacement, and then water heater replacement. And part of the reason, I know I had discussed with Councilman Noppert a little bit earlier, part of the reason we do not have some of the additional accessibility components is due to the disturbance of lead. And that's why it's limited to this scope of work. So you have that before you tonight. The approximate loan amount per home would be approximately $15,000.
When are you gonna start the application process?
So actually, the application process is underway
Okay.
right now. The public hearing for this program is being held tomorrow at 2 PM here in the council chambers. And so if you know anyone who is, I think it's been put on Facebook, it's been, word is being put out there,
Yeah.
but citizens' participation is kind of important in this type of program. And the application itself is actually due a week from this Friday, so the 27th.
Okay.
And we'll find out, I believe, in November as far as the applications. that
We've
are-
done this for years.
Correct.
You have.
And we've had great success, and it's a
Yeah.
10% match from the city,
Right,
and
right.
it's been a very, very successful program.
And the reason we haven't applied in the past few years is because they shut the program down.
Yep.
And this is basically a new program with the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, whereas previously it was funded through actually the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. So it's a little bit of a different type of program.
Okay.
And like CDA funded. So, yeah.
There was one thing I'd like to ask. Say, somebody applied for it like last year and they didn't get it because there wasn't enough grants, and they applied for it this year. Are they moved to the front of the line this year?
Well,
Or
they
is
would,
it
it
all
would have been
starting
2 or
over?
3 years ago now.
It would have been
Tony.
Well,
several
2 or 3 years ago.
I know that Victoria in our office did have a wait list, and so she sent information out to everyone who was listed on
Oh,
that
good,
listing.
that's good.
And then, basically, there will be a matrix to kind of determine if somebody's applied before, they may get a deduct, or someone else who hasn't applied before will get, or been funded before, will get an additional point. So, I mean, there is a matrix that helps determine, I guess, to make it a little more equitable across the.
Spread it out,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, spread out the funds.
Great.
Good question.
Any other questions?
That's it for me.
I'll entertain a motion then to allow the city to provide the match for this housing program, that rehab program, I want to call it.
7,
Um,
it doesn't have it up there, but it'll be resolution 7.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's our resolution, I think it's there.
So it's there, so we don't need,
Well, you will still need to have a number for the resolution.
Yes.
Okay.
This will be an official resolution for the.
okay, yes.
How come we don't have a, okay.
You could just-
Yeah, I got it up on top of my copy.
yeah.
7-2021?
21, yeah.
You got the copy
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's-
sign?
You're gonna sign here in
Okay.
a second.
Got the
If
official.
it gets approved.
All right, yeah, if it gets approved. Okay, then we'll do it this way. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Resolution 7-2021. This is a resolution of Lawrenceburg City Council, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, authorizing the submittal of the CDBG owner-occupied rehab grant application to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs and addressing related matters,
And approve the match.
and approve the match of $25,000. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Great program.
Yes, it is.
Okay. The next thing on your list, once again, guys, we have no stormwater bids to open because we had nobody bid on it. So I'd like to get a motion to table that,
Should abstain.
so it doesn't fall off, but
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
second,
I second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, on that last motion with the ARA, can I abstain from that?
Well,
Are you affiliated with it?
I have done work for that program in the past.
Don't you sign like conflict of interest papers? and-
They're all in there, but I'm not,
Why don't-
just for protocol purposes.
can we go back and rescind that?
I guess.
Well, you only voted to approve us applying for the grant program and matching it. So if your firm was to ever want to obtain one of the grants, that's when we would have to deal with the conflict of interest then. So
But if he's doing the work for, say,
It would
somebody
not-
over
yeah.
on Elm Street, that doesn't affect him?
well, if he's
But
getting
he's
paid
got it in his
money-
conflict.
Well, the thing is, we don't approve that work. Main Street approves it, doesn't it? Or ARA approves it.
No, they approve it.
Ultimately, the city will approve the applicants.
We
Okay,
approve the
so-
applicants.
so
but
they would give the
work is
applicants the
approved by
money.
them.
We would actually work with the city to approve the applicants and we go through the public works.
Yeah, you guys work with us to approve the applicants, but the work itself is not approved by us.
Well, and I need just to make sure that I'm not involved in approving of any applicants,
Okay.
Well,
so.
Good.
or not even that. I mean, the only time it would come up for discussion or some type of other action would be if any of this money were to find its way to you. So that's not what you've done here today.
That's what will happen if he does
Well, that's
the
what I'm
work.
saying, if there's a constituent in the community that wants me to bid the work,
Mhm.
and I went more to the bid, and the money's coming from them, so I mean, it's similar to the Main Street grants too.
But the vote that you just made isn't that.
Okay.
I mean, so you're fine for the vote. That's a separate issue.
Okay.
But the vote you just made right now, you don't have to abstain from.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we're on the donation committee recommendations. You guys have seen those, just one. And there were none that weren't recommended for funding. So I entertain a motion to approve the donation committee recommendations. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I don't have any old business. Y'all have anything? Okay, if not, then I'll entertain comments from the audience.
Yeah, I got something to say.
What you got, Lee?
You're giving all this money to our building, you know, to remodel it.
Uh-huh.
They're not, you should come over and look at that building. About 1/3 of the floor, they tore up the tile, just the wood there, glue, you track everything in the apartment. And they work along this apartment, up 2 apartments, work everywhere, sometimes they're not even there. And they're just making such a mess there. You can see that building, they said if they run out of money before March, they gotta pay back the money, so.
And I think we did add the money at the end if they needed it for the end. Was that part of
Yeah.
our motion that,
Not doing anything.
so, yeah, and I've,
Well, we're not overseeing the project.
yeah, we have nothing to do with it, but I have heard similar things that
Wow.
that they're
that's
having
not-
trouble getting contractors in, which is a across the board issue, just like the restaurants are having trouble finding work. It's an issue, and we're not involved with it at all.
Right.
So-
So you're saying, Lee, is there's not been people over there working?
Yeah, and everybody's got allergies, everybody's sneezing, like everything, you know, it's stuffed up and everything. And then they said they can't get cabinets, they can't get appliances.
That's true for everybody, I do know that, but that's,
Then they got empty apartments sitting there that
yeah.
can't do nothing with them, you know. But they make, you ever seen the floor? They said, the other contractor said he didn't know they're supposed to tear up that tile on that floor. It's about 1/3 of the floor, it's just wood there. I told him, I said, I walk down the hall and I fall through this floor, you're gonna know it too.
Isn't Mr. Seymour part of that?
He's on that board,
He's on the
yes.
board. He don't come over though.
Like I advise, maybe I'll just call Dearborn County. They're the enforcement officers for this, code enforcement now.
Well, they're building inspectors, not code enforcement.
Yeah,
It's not
they're-
it's not
yeah.
a building inspection issue. It would be.
It's a contractor issue.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me.
But if there's things in there that are unsafe, is what she's saying, that the floors are unsafe.
Well,
Who do we
I'm
call?
sure the subfloor should be okay. It's just they're tearing the tile up and it's just a sticky mess, and that is just how.
But that could be unsafe for seniors trying to get down to
If
that floor.
it is, yeah. So
Call the county building, call Billy Shelton.
That's what I would think.
Billy back.
Yeah, he is.
There's also a mold issue.
I had not heard that they were having problems getting contractors, but you guys have?
About 90 working there, no singing down the hall.
Well, and
There's
I've got-
also a mold issue that she called me about too there, and that would be Dearborn County. I mean, we don't have anybody
that's
to
health
do
department
anything.
there.
The health
Then
department.
they call the state. They would have to call the state.
Yeah.
That's all they do with that.
And I've got the Harmony Housing contact, the lady that came and asked for the money. So I mean, I'll send that to all of you guys, and then you can reach out to her
Yeah,
directly.
give me
Yeah,
her number.
that'd
I'd
be
great.
appreciate that.
Because she was.
Her name's
was that-
Angie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll send
No, I
that
mean,
to
she
everybody.
may have no clue this is going on.
That's a good point.
They tore out some of the balconies, there's no balconies on some of them. Y'all should wanna look at that place and sort of know how it looks, yeah.
I'm sending that now. I just have her email address. If you don't get a hold of her, let me know. But
Okay.
her name's Angie Richards.
They're gonna try to get a hold of the lady that is heading that up, Lee.
And everybody wants to know why that Danny Pettit runs the building.
Who?
Danny Pettit, he tells everybody what to do, he don't tell me what to do,
Oh,
you know that.
That's what I know that.
I don't know anybody that tells you what to do, Lee.
I don't know anybody. that would
That's a
wanna
good
take
thing,
that
isn't it?
job.
That's a good thing.
He started one day, I was going down the hall, he knows where Kathy, he said, oh, there's that cat licker. I said, yeah, we've heard all that stuff. Now Jared comes over every day, he won't say anything, because he knows Jared will slap the heck out of him. I will too,
Just don't get
All right.
physical here.
he tells everyone they do this and that, and I said, well, his name's all over the building. And he tells the people upstairs, in the laundry room, on the top floor, there's no electricity, of course, their washer don't work. They gotta go downstairs and do the laundry. He tells them they can't do laundry, it's all bad, they can't do it. Once you start to kiss your rear, they pay right.
That's my girl.
You should be on that board.
Hey.
They don't tell me nothing.
I don't think so.
Probably still steer clear.
Anyone else in the audience have anything else? They'll be reaching out to that girl, that lady.
If Kelly knows, that's not what
That's
No.
right.
That's
might be reaching
$75
back.
so far.
Shut up.
Hunter.
I don't give her a chance, just wanna look at that.
What's your comment, Gene?
About the Monday restaurants.
Uh-huh.
We had lunch today at Fruit 124, and the food and service were excellent.
Yep.
But-
Good.
But I agree, because we come here on Monday night, a lot of times we think we'll go out and get something to eat after, and the only real option we have would be to go back to Fruit 124 or the Captain's Tavern. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only.
Proof was busy today, wasn't it, at lunch? Proof was
It was
busy.
when I went by.
Yeah, it was packed when I went, so that's why I went over to Cafe Delight, yeah, so.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up one more time to the merchants, and, you know, I don't think a food truck's a bad idea if they can't open on Mondays, and maybe we try something. So,
Well, it's nice to have another option here too, and
Yeah.
if it's a taco truck, then maybe the taco truck,
What's
they may,
the-
Whoever's doing that better.
they may wanna
yeah.
open a taco shop down here, which would be awesome. So whatever.
Don't send anything.
Yeah. You don't know how to turn his phone down.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, it would have to be a volume. We'd want to make sure if it's just,
Well, and Riverwatch is gonna be closing up here in October, so that's even one less, so.
So you're saying the new restaurant that opened up on High and Short, not even open today? What is that called?
Parkside Market?
Mark's going there somewhere.
I think I heard they just don't have their equipment together to cook the hot
They-
sandwich.
they don't have
That's why
all
they
of
didn't-
their,
they're
uh,
not
Yeah, but he
quite-
was open
Equipment.
Saturday.
kind of a soft opening
Yeah.
on Saturday, so.
He's open Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a welcome to them, because that's gonna be a neat little
Yes,
market
it
as
is.
well.
I walked in
$25 fine.
there. They need to be broke then.
I'll be broke today.
All right, anybody else from the audience? If not, then I'll entertain a motion. Whoa, what the?
You got mayor in the back.
Yeah.
I thought the roof was gonna fall in.
He tried to run me down on Walnut Street, but I got out of the way. I was quick. Quick still.
All right. I entertain a motion then to approve the claims.
Before we do the claims, Mr.
Yes.
Fetty, is that an update of all the claims?
Yes.
I thought there was multiple
Yeah,
there, and I
there's
just
quite a
want to
few
make
there,
sure.
yes, you
Oh,
should
yes, there
notice.
was.
It's been,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Get
okay,
end of
I'll
the
make
year.
that motion, Mayor.
All right, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn. Ah.
Too late.
Who would you contact if you thought the intersection at 48 and Civil Road needed widening?
NDOT.
State route 48, so yeah.
Because
NDOT.
that's, like, why is it that all the other, when the city did all the other streets, they have nice big wide entrances into them, like, Bel Air and all the other streets down the hill. But Cribble is like real small, and there's school buses and all kind of stuff that turns there at that point.
And Gene Fouch
It
turns
is
there.
pretty sharp.
It's
That's
tight.
pretty sharp. It's narrow.
Yes.
Go Pribble Circle.
Yeah.
Company that came in a motorhome pulling a vehicle behind it, and, you can hardly turn down the street.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can have Mr. Todd mention that to NDOT next time he's communicating with them,
I
so.
think the sign got knocked down there by something just recently, and I saw the lady that lived in the corner post something about some gas thing got hit there on the corner too. And I saw the gas company up there working.
I questioned Mr. Clark about that years ago because when they did 48, that's the same way our street is. You have no radius to turn in there. It's almost like a 90. And he basically said that's. Yes, it is. There was nothing that they could do because it was state. Was the way I
But
understood it.
state regulations off of 48 are high. I mean, on our drive on 48, we had to be 52 feet for a residential. I mean, just a residential. So to have a commercial drive,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
a
it's
big
not
easement.
compliant with what their regulations are. So we could petition that they come into compliance for our public safety.
You know, it's kind of narrow right there on 48 too. Making that turn on the Pribble, that's
what we're
narrow.
talking about.
Well,
That's
I'm
what we're
talking
talking
about,
about.
not on Pribble, but even on 48 where you're turning out, that's pretty narrow. That's
You know,
not
I
real
think my
wide.
cousin turned at Purple Circle because I thought that was.
Yeah, it's an easier turn.
Yeah.
It is an easier turn, more of a radius, anyway.
But the school buses don't do that, they all turn down at Purple.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. All right, anything else? Entertain a motion to, did we do claims?
Yes, we did, Mayor.
We're ready to adjourn, sir.
Can I get an adjournment?
You sure there's nobody else? I'll move that we adjourn.
Anything
Second.
else, Lee?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Can I have you just for one moment here?
Of course.
And I'll bring it to you. This is what I was.
Hey, Dale.